We live, sir.
Shalom, y'all. Bashim Gita, y'all Shema out there. Bashim Yashar.
Make sure the mic is closer. Yeah, there you
Shema
go, sir.
Walla, Captain Walla coming out of I.S.U.P.K headquarters for the Queen's class.
That's right.
We're going into Halloween. So today is Halloween. The first scripture I want to get is Jeremiah 10:1. Be what you got. Who has Jeremiah 10:1?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Most High speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Read on.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen.
Stop. Learn not the way of the heathen. We're going to go into Halloween right now. And we're going to see that all these holidays, not just Halloween, but Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, New Year's Day, all those are the way of the heathen. We are not to learn those ways, man. Right. Halloween is a wicked pagan holiday created by our oppressor back in about 2,000 years ago. But let's get Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October 31st. The tradition originated with the ancient Celtic. The Celtics like the Irish, right? Festival of Samhain, when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. This is where Halloween comes from. This is when people wearing ghosts, they just as Batman and Spider-Man and ghouls and goblins, things like that. That's where Halloween comes from. It comes from this. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor all saints. Soon, All Saints Day incorporated some traditions of Samhain. The evening before was known as All Hallows Eve, a later Halloween. Over time, Halloween evolved to a day of activities like trick-or-treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns, festival, donning costumes, and eating treats. That's the whole idea of people getting candy on Halloween, going door to door, asking for candy, trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat,
right?
Something like that. That's where that comes from. It comes from this wicked nonsense. Right. Don't let your kids do Halloween. Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrate their new year on November 1st. This is how backwards our oppressor is, man. They celebrate in the dead of winter when things are starting to die. Right. That's when they celebrate their New Year. Not like us, Israel, in March, April. Right. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest, and beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was often associated with human death. Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrate Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to the earth. Halloween is not a harmless holiday, y'all. It's not harmless. Learn not the way to heathen. When you do these things, you're identifying yourself with our oppressor. You identify yourself with the heathen and what they do. And the more you keep doing it with your holidays, the more and more you become part of the society and want to push their agenda, push all the things that they want, and that's the thing that the Most Highs want. Damn. Slakia.
No, sir, and you know, you're so right about what you're saying. This holiday needs to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? This holiday, and if you don't know, yesterday I also did a class on Halloween, and what I brought out is that haunted houses have a link with the Underground Railroad, and not only that they were doing the reverse Underground Railroad. You know what I'm saying? During Halloween, you know, you scared of traditions and houses and mansion. And not knowing that those plantations, those haunted houses was where your brother died at.
Yeah, right.
They were sending brothers back who supposedly thought they were free, but yet they were slaves once again because our oppressor would sneak out and kidnap our innocent brothers and sisters and hide them in these so-called haunted mansions, haunted houses.
Damn right. In addition, causing trouble, as the brother brought out, and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids or Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. This is their nonsense. Right. You know what I mean? Worshiping ghosts and things like that. That make you be able to, you know, see the spirit world. You can predict the future and all that. You can know your fate, and that's garbage. For people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort during the long, dark winter. To commemorate the event, the Jews built huge sacred bonfires where the people would gather to burn crops and animals as sacrifice to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads and skins and attempted to tell each other's fortune. This is where the whole idea of storytelling comes on Halloween and things like that, and having the flashlight and you got it under your mouth and this is where this comes from. That's the evil that you have your kids doing out there. That people have our kids. It's not a harmless holiday. When the celebration was over, they lit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished early that evening, from the sacred bond to help protect them during the coming winter. So it's all about superstition as well, too. That's being superstitious. You know what I mean? You want to protect from the winter, cold hard winter, serve the Most High God.
Right.
Stop eating that pork.
Right.
You know what I mean? Stop eating shrimp, crab, and stop celebrating Christmas. God will protect you.
Right.
You know what I mean? By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory in the course of 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands. Two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. The first was Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorate the passing of the dead. See, this is all about worshiping the dead, things like that. We don't do that in Israel. That's not our thing. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Romans' goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of the celebration to Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that's practiced today on Halloween. So all this worshiping of pagan gods and Greek gods and Roman god Pomona. This is sad, but that's why they put the apple in for Adam and Eve. They ate the apple.
Right.
So they try to make that story. That's really about Pomona. On May 13, 609 AD, Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Pantheon in Rome in honor of all Christian martyrs, and the Catholic Feast of All Martyrs' Day was established in the Western Church. Pope Gregory III later explained the festival to include all saints as well as all martyrs and moved the observance from May 13th to November 1st. By the 9th century, the influence of Christianity had spread into Celtic lands, where it gradually supplanted older Celtic rites. In 1000 AD, the church made November 2nd All Souls Day a day to honor the dead. It's widely believed today that the church was attempting to replace the Celtic Festival of the Dead with the related church-sanctioned holiday. So this is what the Christian church get it from. This Christian church is really pagan worship.
Word.
They take old pagan customs and put biblical names on it.
Right.
This is about Peter. They make it about Peter and Paul and Mary and Christ. Nah, man, it's paganism. It's Pomona and these deities and these worshiping the dead. They just put God, they just put Bible names on it, so that make you think you're doing something righteous on Sunday, which you're not. You're worshiping paganism. All Souls Day was celebrated similar to Samhain, with big bonfires, parades, and dressing up in costumes as saints, angels, and devils. The All Saints Day celebration was also called All Hallows or All Hallowmas, from the Middle English All Hallow Messe, meaning All Saints Day. And the night before, the traditional night of Samhain in the Celtic religion began to be called All Hallows Eve and eventually Halloween. Now Halloween's coming now. It was done over there in Europe first. Then it came over to America.
Right.
The celebration of Halloween was extremely limited in colonial New England because of the rigid Protestant belief systems there. Halloween was much more common in Maryland and the southern colonies. As the beliefs and customs of different European ethnic groups in the Americas and Indians meshed, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebration included play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest. Neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other others' fortunes, dance and sing. So this is where Halloween parades come from.
Right.
Halloween parades, jumping up and down, festivals, telling stories, things like that. They took pagan worship and like I said, meshed it into our society. So we're nowadays in 2021, it seems normal.
Right.
When somebody says you shouldn't celebrate Halloween, let's pay. They look at you like you crazy, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. My kid can dress up on Halloween. You know,
Right.
Or what the Christian church likes to do the day after and call it what's the Christian church call it? Where they dress up as
All Saints Day?
do they call All Saints Day in Christian church today? Yeah.
So is that when they dress up as biblical characters, call something else?
Yeah, they call it something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called All Saints Day. I'm not sure what they call, but they do it the day after Halloween. They were doing it tomorrow. You know what I mean? To make it sound like, well, we're not celebrating, but it's for the kids. I mean, that'll get you killed, man. That for the kids nonsense. That'll make you die. You know what I'm saying? Christmas is just for the kids. Easter's for the kids. You know what I'm saying? The kids so the kids can have fun. No, the kids can have fun some other day. You know what I mean? Not on those days. Now we can't be doing that, God, man. That'll get you killed. Colonial Halloween festivals also featured the telling of ghost stories and mischief making of all kinds. See, mischief making of all kinds. I remember back in the day, and I grew up in the 80s, man. 80s and the 90s, they was throwing eggs at you, things like that. I remember people would stay home from my school Halloween. Yeah.
Get the mic, Flocky. Get past the mic.
Pass the mic to him.
so he can hear, so everybody can hear him.
Lucky, sir, if I may. When I was growing up, it was hitting people with paintball guns.
Yeah.
If we catch them, we be clapping with paintball guns.
Yeah, and all that, yeah.
God,
People get beat up on Halloween, things like that. I mean, that's that mission, that's that spirit that's getting inside. That's why we should not learn the way of the heathen.
Right.
Because that spirit to get inside you, that's that you creating mischief. You going around beating people, you robbing people, you destroying people. By the middle of the 19th century, annual autumn festivals were common, but Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing from the Irish potato famine, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. Okay, this is trick-or-treating. Borrowing from European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costume and go house to house asking for food or money, and a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition. Young women would believe that on Halloween they could divine the name of their parents or their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple, parents, or mirrors. So that's the history of trick-or-treating. Going from house to house. They did it back in Europe asking for money because they were poor.
Right.
Now they be asking for candy. Don't do that. You have razor blades in them candies and all that. People put pneumonia. I mean, this is all kinds of back in the day when I was growing up, man.
Right.
You know, go ahead, Shaw.
They'll put rat poison inside
rat poison, all kind of stuff. And it's, go ahead.
It's like or needle within the candy bar.
Yeah, needle in the candy bar, all kind of nasty and the wicked stuff they would do. I mean, when I was going, they said you go to people's house that you know. You going to people on this block. You know what I mean? You ain't going be going all over the place and all that. You don't know them people over there. You know what I mean? That's how it was when I was going there. You go put somebody that you trust.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you could not go to a stranger's house. But don't let it go to somebody you trust or a stranger. Halloween is wicked. It's a pagan holiday. We should not do it. Yashua Yahweh.
Okay, so if I may, being in the world in my time, we was told, oh, let's go to the white neighborhood. They got all the candy, but they're the ones doing the wickedness. It's crazy, sir.
Yeah, man. Now, let's get some scriptures now. Go to Amos 5:21. Now I give you our basis of Halloween, what it's all about. Go to Amos 5. So we're gonna get some scriptures to show that the Lord's not with Halloween or any other
sir. Amos 5:21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
So I despise your feast days, man. He hates Halloween. He hates Christmas. Thanksgiving that's coming. He hates that too. You know what I mean? He hates Easter. New Year's Day and all that. He hates all that garbage, man. He despises your feast day. Go to Deuteronomy 32:16.
Come, sir.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations provoked they him to anger.
So we provoked the God. We provoked most High with strange God. I mean, that God's promoter. We provoke gods every celebrating Halloween, all that garbage, man. The God of I.S.U.P.K, which is for Easter. We celebrate that. And we provoke the Most High to jealousy, man, with strange God. Read on.
Verse 17. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
That's like this God of Halloween that we celebrate every day. That our people go out and say it's just for the kids, things like that. These are gods that are God that we knew not. Abraham don't know about no Halloween. Isaac and Jacob, they ain't know about Halloween. This was 2,000 years ago, but the guys promoting them stinking Irish people and the Celtic people and all that. That's what Halloween's about. It comes from them. It's not our culture to do these heathen holidays. Go to Exodus 22:16, 22:18, Salakia. Go ahead. Go ahead, speak. Go ahead.
Like you were saying earlier, the Catholic Church, they're like one of the top 3 biggest religions on earth. As they conquered more and more land, they needed ways to assimilate the people that they conquered.
That's right. Yes, they did. Yes, they
and
did.
That's why they have the All Saints Day, because
exactly
because they wanted to help assimilate the people that they conquered in England, in that area, to the religion of a quote unquote Christianity.
That's right. That's right. So they kept their pagan customs and said, okay, we're gonna call it this now. It's the same paganism, but we're just gonna call it this. 22:18. Who has that?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. That's them Celtic Jews and all that. They were witches, man. Bonfires and things like that, sacrificing their daughters and sacrifice their virgin daughter to some god or something. That's wickedness, man. Suffering out of witch. When you do this Halloween, don't be surprised if you go out and die, man. Something happened to you. Right. Don't be surprised if God don't want you doing that, man. Suffer a witch not to live. Go to hold on. Leviticus 20 and 27.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 27. A man also, or woman that hath a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death.
That's how man who is a familiar spirit shall be put to death, man. That familiar spirit, you are a wizard. You trying to do hocus pocus and things like that. Presto changeo, and you in a new age section of Barnes and Nobles. You know, reading all them new age with the Kabbalah and all that garbage, the Talmud and things like that. Thinking you gonna cast a spell and things like that. All that is garbage, man. And but it say gonna be done to him. Read on.
Shall surely be put to death.
Shall surely be put to death. Read.
They shall stone them with stones. Their blood shall be upon them.
That's what happened back in that day. We got stoned. I'm not telling anybody to go out and do that right now. But it's gonna come a time when all those people, all of those heathens that want to worship Halloween, want to worship the goddess Pomona, because that's what it is, and all that. It's not about being a saint and nothing godly, nothing like that. You want to do that? That day is gonna come when you're gonna get destroyed, man. Go to the same book, 18 and 18 and 21.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 21. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord.
Don't let your kids pass through the fire, man. We was doing that back in those days too, putting our kids through fire. You know what I'm saying? Burning our kids. That's heathen customs. So that sacrificing your kids to some god. That's nonsense, man. That's God. You don't do that to your child. That's ridiculous. That's what white people do. That's how our oppressor does. And that comes from the Celtics and the Druids and the Romans and all that. That comes from their culture. They do things like that. We don't do that as Black Hispanics and the American Indians.
Right. If I could, sir, go real quick, sir, give a scripture.
Go ahead.
Can I get a Deuteronomy 18 and 10?
That's my next scripture too.
Come, Most High Christ.
Read it.
Go ahead, sir.
Bring it out. My next scripture.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Bring it out. Read it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination,
right,
or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch.
See that? Or a witch. Use divination, voodoo, and all that, hocus pocus and things like that. An observer of times, astrology. You know, look up in the stars, and you know, Adam had studied astronomy. He's looked at the stars and communicate with the Most High. What man do today? They look up at the stars and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this because the moon, the moon of Venus is in the circumference of the moon of Mars, and that means this gonna happen to me today and all that." That's nonsense, man. You don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be an observer of times, and don't be using it. Don't enchant or which we don't Bakwash.
Verse 11, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits.
So we're trying to talk to the dead, which is what they did back in Halloween. Read on.
Or a wizard, or a necromancer.
Anybody know what a necromancer is? Yeah, necromancer, yeah.
It's like I said, if I'm correct, isn't that when you believe you can bring the dead back to life, or you God?
Things like that. Dealing with dead people. We don't do that in our culture. We didn't read verse 12.
Verse 12. For all that do these things are an abomination.
That's all is an abomination. Lord hate you when you do that. Read on.
Unto the Most High. And because of these abominations, the Most High thy power doth drive them out before thee.
And most of them, that's going to happen soon enough, man. This is 2021, about to be 2022. You know what I mean? And Most High is coming. Christ is coming to drive these things out of us, man. You better get it right now. You get it right now on your own, or be forced to do it. You know what I mean? Or you die in World War II, thermonuclear war, and you come back in a reincarnation. But you want to be saved now. You don't have to come back. You want to be saved right now. You want to avoid that death. You want to avoid the punishment, man. Get yourself right. Go to 2 Kings 17 and 17.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17 and verse 17. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and used divination and enchantments and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Most High, to provoke him to anger.
So all that divination and astrology and worshiping the dead and think you're going to talk to spirits and things like that, like I do, that's the Lord. That's evil in the eyes of the Most High, man. We ain't supposed to be doing it, man. That's evil and it's disgusting, it's wicked, and just as bad as you ate pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, or fornicate and things like that. That's spiritual fornication because you're worshiping another God.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's spiritual fornication. Go to the same book, 16 and 3.
Book of 2 Kings, chapter 16 and verse 3. But he walked in the way, Salakia, but he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yea, and made his sons to pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen.
What did I say when he first started out? Learn not the way of the heathen. You know what I mean? That's an abomination of the heathen. That's an abomination of the heathens, man. Read on.
Whom the Most High cast out from before the children of Israel.
Most High gonna cast them before. That's gonna happen today, man. It's gonna happen soon, man. We're gonna cast them out, man. We keep prophesying to them and waking people up. We'll provoke the Most High to come down here and not he's gonna come himself, but send his son Yahweh, Jesus Christ, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, and them angels to drive them people out from us like that. And we won't be no more Halloween, man. It's gonna be so beautiful. No more Halloween, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas, none of that. It's gonna be all about the Sabbath day, the Passover. You know what I mean? Passover will be on Cocoa Beach next year.
That's
Give that
right.
a hand. Cocoa Beach. You know what I mean? Feast of Tabernacles, Day of Atonement, Mortar blowing trumpet, Feast of Dedication, which is coming November 28th. Purim, that's going to be about that. Our days, the Lord's day, not this filthy garbage. Get one more scripture. 2 Kings 21 and 6.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 21 and verse 6. And he made his sons pass through the fire and observed times and used enchantments and dealt with familiar spirits and wizards. He wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Most High to provoke him to anger.
So whenever you celebrate Halloween, you provoking the Most High to anger, man. You're going to be a witch and enchanter and divination time. You're going to be an All Saints Day and talk to the dead and think you're going to make yourself have a better winter now or something like that because you done spoke to some dead person, something like that. That's garbage, man. You're gonna provoke the Most High to anger, man. He's gonna destroy you because of it, man. So get yourselves right, get yourself right. This is Shmuel from the Queens, New York camp. We have camp in Queens coming up soon. If you want to call me, my number is 646-401-4174. If you're in the Queens area, I can let you know about the camp that we have in the Queens and all that, all the events, things like that. That's my time. Shalom.
And don't forget, remember, the Queen's classes is every Sunday. Don't forget to always tune in every Sunday, 3:00. Sometimes 3, sometimes 3:30. But we have classes every Sunday for Queens.
All right, the water. Appreciate it. Shalom.